we got going here?
Walk the sunlight?
Oh, week 12, you figured that out? All right. Good job. All right. Did my job like that. You fired me after the first game. So.
Year 7.
Year 7? Okay. David?
Use that at the stadium too.
I was just scared another crew's going to come walking in here. That's what
Making more. That was one of yours. What time with the schedule is always so different. When did you get in last night, and what is everyone's? How's today different?
I got to the facility here last night about 9, but today's a Wednesday. Tomorrow's a Thursday. Wednesday will be a Saturday.
Let's condense on that too. I mean, as far as what you.
Oh yeah, I mean we're not gonna be able to do everything. Like today, we're gonna be in hats and cleats. We're gonna be able to get outside, but we'll do the same number of reps that we did on Wednesday practice. We'll just minus. We'll miss a walkthrough that we normally have. Tomorrow we'll get everything. We'll get 2 walkthroughs in a practice, but it'll be in a jog through mode. And then Wednesday will be an extended Saturday day. We'll have more meeting time than we normally would on a Saturday, but we'll have the full speed work. So.
This is quite different than it was your first year here when you started doing this, right?
2020?
Schedule, yeah.
Oh yeah, God, I don't, maybe 21. I don't even count 2020. I couldn't even. Yeah, 2020. That was a hard week there. You know, with everything that happened with Marcus and everything. So, but schedule-wise, no, I think it's not too far off of what we've done. I've had some experience with the Thanksgiving game, in the past, and played up there a number of times in Detroit. So, but this is similar to how I've always done it.
Clarence Hill, Four Star Telegram. You said you got here at 9. Did you go home? You spend the night?
No, I went home. Yeah, I came here from the airport. Just got everything ready for tomorrow.
Right.
And then went home.
When you got here at 9, you stayed a couple hours.
Well, yes, what time we got in? Yeah.
I was just clarifying. You didn't spend the night here. I'm sorry.
No. But I was back here at 5:15. If you must know. Okay. Yeah. And I had a Bride Schottenheimer, a hot white chocolate mocha. Yeah, and I was embarrassed to go in and get it. So you can talk to him about that. So.
That was not manly enough white chocolate mocha.
Well, it's black coffee, man. It's Texas.
There you go. Jerron Bland, I'm sure you guys had confidence, and there was a question about him, and what he's continuing to be able to do. Are you surprised? I mean,
I don't know why we keep talking about him as a surprise. I mean, he's been playing, top-notch football now, going on his 2nd year. I mean, it just, if you look at the interception too, I mean, it's his anticipation to cut that angle. That's smart, very instinctive football player. It's obviously tied to record. We recognized him today in the team meeting, so he's having a great year.
How's a guy like that drop to the 5th round?
We got a game this week, don't we?
Mike Todd, Archer, the ESPN. Back to the schedule for a second.
Yeah.
Because everything is so condensed,
Yes.
is a game plan condensed, or is it a normal, you have the same amount of plays that you have in a normal week?
Well, without saying anything, last week we went a little heavier, so in the situational packages. So we had extra calls in the 3rd down, extra calls in the red zone that clearly I was not going to run in the game. So that at least they were introduced. They were in the plan was part of the process. So today's plan is a normal size, but there's a tremendous amount of carryover, because obviously you build up for these opportunities.
And guys have talked about being able to sleep at home the night before games. What made you switch it and want to go to that? And was it after the Tampa game last year that you switched it all?
Yes, I mean it's pretty clear what's gone on since we did switch. But it's really is my experience in my first job. Marty Schottenheimer. 1993 to 98, we slept at home, and every place that I've been, actually Jim has you had the option to sleep at home or sleep at the hotel. And I actually in Green Bay I tried. I met with the leadership council, and they didn't want to sleep at home, just because but everything's 5 minutes away up there, so it's a different deal. Just they just like the routine of it. So, but. I just think there's tremendous benefit of it. We've adjusted our schedule on Saturday, and Cooper Rush and I were just talking about this downstairs. It's not only the ability to sleep at home, but it's also the ability to get home early enough to get a nap. So these guys they're getting a nap in their own bed. They're in bed early, and so and you could feel it. You could feel it in the locker room. Like our home locker room is. I mean, I enjoy it. The music's. It starts off in my generation. Then by the time they all get here, it's there's just a tremendous amount of energy, and I think that's part of it too. I think when you do have a chance to go home, there's the excitement of getting up and getting going. So I think we all sleep better in our own bed.
Michael Gelkin, Dallas Morning News. Terence Steele had that block in the run game yesterday where he blocked 2 guys in open space, dislodged his own helmet in the process. To you, is that classic Steele, and how do you feel he's responding these past couple of games?
I think he's really the last 2 weeks is that's who we're talking about. I think he's made some adjustments. And we've talked about his injury. I really don't want to get into specifics of that, but we're obviously very, very high on Terence, his work ethic and his play style. And as I've said, a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about him, I mean, he's still going to go through the first, of everything this year, coming off of a major joint injury. But yes, he's made some big splash plays. Actually, I had a chance to talk to Jake Delhomme and Luke Kuechly before the game, and they do the home, the radio for the Panthers, and Terrence is one of the guys I brought up. Just his play style and his ability to get out in space. Both our tackles. So, but yeah, I'm glad to see him having success.
Sean.
So I just feel like, Mike, on the scheduling thing, taking the opponents aside, just this entire chunk of the schedule where, like you said, you went heavy last week, then you have a Thursday game, then you have a long week. I'm assuming after Philadelphia it gets a little bit more normal again, but do you as a coach have to basically plan for this from, like, I guess a week ago, look forward a whole month and see how you're going to kind of, whether it's teach concepts or rest guys, things like that? How much that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's really, once the schedule comes out, once you get training camp set, that's the next thing I work on is the schedule for the season. So there's a whole projected schedule that's done probably somewhere in the summer. It's probably completed in the beginning of training camp. So every practice, every meeting, everything's laid out. But when you get to this point, there's a plan A and a plan B. Because your healthier football team is a number one, in my opinion. So I think you just clearly you learn from your experiences. I tweaked this week's schedule this morning. Because we're getting ready to go into we'll go into a winter schedule when we come back for Philadelphia. So and there's a couple components on the Thursday winter schedule that actually I'll introduce tomorrow. So I have different schedules, and it's more plug and play, where I use them, and I'm just really, focusing on this rest and recovery because I mean it's a challenge. I mean the travel is something that I didn't have my hands around in 21. So 2020 was just it was a different year with the pandemic and everything, but I know after 2021, I says I got to build in more recovery time, and I think we're better in 22, and the goal is to be even better this year.
I think the recovery time, obviously, physically makes sense, but do you also have to mentally, or for players mentally, make sure that they're getting whatever breaks or whatever is needed, and not going, I guess.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I think you do that on any schedule, regardless what time of year. I think one of the good things about the CBA is, the players do, have an easier schedule. You can see the benefit of them being done at 7 o'clock, in training camp, because their energy, in my opinion, has been a lot better in the mornings in training camp. So that is one of the things I do like. I wish we could take an Irish siesta and put it right in the middle of the day, but that ain't going to happen. We know that. But I just think there's, these are changes that have been, made that are very beneficial to the players. And I think You know, I know I would think every coach has to be very cognizant of that and try to maximize it. And I know, you know, and now working with Britt Brown and Harold Nash, you know, we have a good system in place of, you know, how we regulate the you know, the GPS, how it's applied to the upcoming schedule. You know, we obviously had the numbers from yesterday's game, and so, you know, we watch all the indicators, look at all the numbers, but you know, also, you know, your bartenders, those guys down on the first floor, they know the players best. You know, they're with them all the time. So, just got to listen to all your information.
Skylar.
Skyler Dixon with EAP. Zach Martin said today, some people may think the schedule's starting to wind down a little bit, but the real football starts at Thanksgiving. What do you think about that?
I agree with them 100%. I think this is the toughest time of year, and people remember, you know, everybody remembers November, and December is when it really counts. So, no, I agree with them 100%.
Josh.
Justin Lawrence, Pro Football Network. Mike, can you talk about Kavontae Turpin and how he has this ability to kind of flip the switch when he's on the field and just laser focused, his mindset when he's playing, and kind of how that's grown throughout the last year that you've seen?
Yeah, I think clearly he just needed an off season. You know, I mean, he arrived, you know, second week of training camp, or, you know, whenever he arrived out there in Oxnard last year, and you know, and obviously did a great job with special teams. But you know, we want him to be a receiver, and he has answered the call there. So very, very happy with Terp. He's a joy to coach. You know, he has tremendous energy. Obviously, he's so dynamic with the ball in his hands. But you know, he's really figured it out. You know, so there's you know, when you have different personnel groups going in and out, and he's part of that now too. He's part of the normal flow of the game. So he's doing a great job.
Jarrett.
Garrett Podell, CBS Sports. Mike, you coached Charles Woodson in 2009 when he won Defensive Player of the Year. He led the league in picks and pick sixes. I know Charles is a Hall of Famer, but Deron Bland is doing that right now in those categories. What similarities, if any, are there the way Charles played that year when he won the award and the way Deron Bland's playing right now?
Well, you know, one thing with Charles, and you know, and what's neat is, you know, Joe Witt's coached both guys now, and you know, obviously Al Harris and Joe and Charles were all together. So there are some cool similarities, and one of the things that Joe was telling me, I think it was in Friday's practices, you know, and it's something that really they started up in Green Bay, where it was like, hey, how many concepts do you have, you know, or how many things you really dialed into. And I know going into the game, Joe felt that there was two that they could really jump on, and you know, and as far as the crossing routes and so forth. So that, you know, that's something that you know, those guys played a little different level, and you know, it's the film study, you know, the instincts, the awareness. But you know, Charles was obviously a complete player, but you know, a lot like DB, just the ball skills, and more importantly, but when they got the ball in their hands, they were dynamic to put in the end zone. So.
Jacob Dedamore, the ticket. Going back to the game planning for this week specifically, does it help you guys to get game plan knowing you have a known opponent with a known coaching staff that you're familiar with?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, I agree with that. I think having a common opponent is I'll say easier, preferred. You know, so but you know, it's just like anything. Every team's trying to evolve during the course of the season. You know, I have a lot of respect for Ron. You know, obviously Jack Del Rio's done it for a long time too. So you know, you have a lot of you know, veteran leadership and, you know, and experience there, and I was talking about it today in the quarterback room. So yeah, but it's, you know, it's a tough game for both teams. You know, especially today. You know, the guys are, you know, they really don't start getting their bodies back till Wednesday. So it'll be important to have the right amount of work on Wednesday. And you know, everybody's excited, you know, once Thursday gets here, but you know, these couple days are a tough stretch.
Jordan Lewis, Thursday's game will be the 10th that he's played this season. He had a forced fumble yesterday. What do you think he, in terms of just maybe the way he's wired or otherwise, has been able to have a sort of rebound season from that injury that he has had?
Oh, it's just who he is. I mean, Jordan's just, I mean, he's as tough as they come. I mean, he's his competitiveness. You know, in the respect that he has in a locker room, I mean, it tells the whole story. So, yeah, to me, it's just him being him. You know, like it's incredible. You know, we've talked time and time again, because you know, when we all saw the initial surgery, you know, after the injury, that was a huge injury. So, his comeback has been awesome, and it's great to see him back out there and just playing ball like he always has.
With the injury guys today, is it hard to get a read on him because this is walk through? Any concerns with CD's ankle and Kirsch's back for you for a game?
Not a high concern because it's Monday, so probably, I think I'll have a better feel Wednesday when because we're not going to ask them to, open up until Wednesday. So, I mean, today's regulated, tomorrow's, even more regulated. So,
Scott. Outlook on Peyton Hendershot at this point?
yeah, had a full week of practice. Obviously it'll be a short week this week, but I just felt that he wasn't quite ready, last week. So, he probably won't get a real chance until Wednesday to get moving and so forth. But he feels good, so that's the most important thing. Thank you.